Hooked by books. Hooked by books. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmaster Akmal. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Toastmasters of the evening is right. Hooked by books. Well, I'm trying to, I'm going to be interrupted, but it's alright. So, hooked by books. I repeat myself, hooked by books. So, if you know what I mean, books. Books, if you know by the physically or literally, is basically the pages or papers with black ink written on it. Or sometimes it can consist of colors and graphics. But for me, it is more than a book. Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you why. And then second of all, I'm going to tell you how I came across into so deeply in love with books. Alright. First of all, why? Throughout, this is something that come up just after my first speech, which is more about me and how I started to learn English a little bit. So, with those difficulty in English, I came across a very interesting books that start to trigger the interest in English, learning English, because I know that during as little kids, with my limited knowledge as a kid, books can bring me wonders. First of all, I would like to tell you the story of Huckleberry Finn. Huckleberry Finn is a story of a boy who is as naughty as me, very kids. So immediately, I was hooked by the idea of Tom Sawyer. He was audacious. He was audacious in everything he did. So immediately, I can relate to myself, how naughty I was, how I frequently play pranks on others, just like the character in the book. So I was immersed in the world that I never knew existed. And then next, I came across this book, which is Moby Dick. Moby Dick is a story which is more a little bit like adulthood, which challenge you, which is show you how manly a man can be. Moby Dick is a story about a guy who was bitten off by a whale. So what happened? He lost his leg. So when he come back to the shore, he gathered another troop, his troop, to specifically hunt this Moby Dick. So Moby Dick is actually a nickname, and the book is actually entitled Moby Dick the Whale. But the story is about the revenge, but then at the end of the story, it's more about human. You start to question about, is it right to be resentful to animals? Or do you feel compassion towards animals? So as a kid, I was like, this is a newfound knowledge for me. I tried not to be that audacious anymore. And then next, my father kept talking about Merchant of the Venice and the Hamlet. Well, that's too high for me. So what I did was I went to the kids section at the Kluang library. As I walked through there, I find a version which is suitable for kids, because the words have been, the words that being used is more suitable for kids. But then, the most important thing is the underlying message in the stories of Merchant of Venice as well as Hamlet. So Merchant of Venice is more of a story of how this guy had been played by a loan shark. But then, the most important part is that if you use your brain correctly, if you are wise enough, you can save others and you can save yourself from disaster. What happened in Merchant of Venice? This guy almost been killed by these loan sharks, because in the terms and conditions, he said that if you fail to repay me, you need to give me a pound of flesh. However, because of the brilliance of his friend, the friend challenged the guy. So if you want a pound of flesh, you can cut it here, in front of all the judges and courts, in front of the courts. But you can never ever drop even one tiny drop of blood. So basically, the terms and conditions terminated right away. I'm not I can't remember how Shakespeare write it. I'm pretty sure it's more beautiful than me. I made it sound audacious by saying this. But my underlying message is that that's how I was hooked by the books. And next, we are thinking about how actually we can really immerse ourselves in lots of books. Like most of the leaders, most of the well-known thinkers in the world, they read a lot. So how actually we can read a lot? So I had shared this with a couple of friends and even a couple of people here. The thing is, what we are today is actually what we have focused on 10,000 hours earlier in our life. That is what we are today. What we are good at now is what we've been doing for the last 10,000 hours. So, if you want to be good at reading, so we need to start to put into hours into reading. So how good reader you are depends on when you start. Because whatever you want to be good at, you need to put in 10,000 hours. This rule has been spoken of in one of the books as well that I read, but I'm being audacious. I didn't remember the author. Alright. Anyway, I would like to share with you another book that actually really inspired me, which is Sun Tzu Art of War. And actually, it's not just a book of Sun Tzu's Art of War, because down the road, I found another book which challenged Sun Tzu's Art of War, which is written by Chu, Thick Face and Black Heart. So, we never heard of Chu, and the idea of Thick Face and Black Heart, we only know Sun Tzu's Art of War. So actually, they both live more or less in the same era, but Sun Tzu is more of a bureaucrat person, but this thick face and black heart philosophy come more from the communists during the era. So it contradicts. So what the both of books taught me is that there's no right answer to our life. So we are our own books. We are writing our chapters. Slowly in our life, every year we are writing a new chapter. So myself included, I am hooked by my own books. I would like someday, down the road, 20 years later, I want to have people reading my books and say that, well, I can learn something from this guy. Or actually, oh, this guy had made a very impactful actions towards the world. With that,